is the future of roller derby, and this is one of the things that I love about juniors is, oh, they're so cute. No. They are so dead set on taking my roster spot. And I love that. And you know what? It's pretty much wide open, let's be honest.
Oh, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. So the one thing that you're going to notice in this bout is you're going to see some familiar faces that you've been seeing throughout the weekend, because one of the great things about USARS and the way that they work with their other roller disciplines is that if you're a high enough skill level, you don't have to be contained by your age level. You can kind of graduate up to the next level and compete with adults. And so a lot of these skaters you've already seen this weekend. Of course, some of these skaters from the that are going to be skating on the black team here from Antagonist will be skating under their derby names for this bout, but the faces remain the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's like number 80 is Adams, but her name is Tempest Fugit. Is that right?
That's my chicken scratch is probably
Tempest, because
my chicken scratch is probably hard to read. I apologize,
right. But I'll tell you what. Number 17, McIntosh. That I believe that's Jesus Feist. Oh, that's excellent. Nice work, McIntosh. She hit me in the first game that we played against Antagonists on, Friday?
Uh-huh.
And I was covering the line and doing my thing, and I did the dumbest thing I ever could do as a blocker, and I left that blind side completely blind, and she clocked me good to the point where people in the fans were like, that was number 17 that did that, Val. And so I was going to go back on a revenge hit. But no, you got to respect somebody that hits you hard and hits you clean. And,
and does so at such a young age.
Exactly. And it's great because she was dancing to a lot of the music that we were dancing to, and I was like, how do you know this song? But yeah, and A. Prey, number 91, Destroyer. Yep, she definitely destroyed all over the track this weekend. Apex Jumper should be her name, not A. Prey. I know that's her given name, but it should be Apex.
The Apex Jump, the slam dunk of this sport, and
definitely. She
has got it down pat already.
All right, so speaking of A. Prey or Destroyer, number 91 is lined up on the inside in black for the Bratz black team.
And Mason taking the jammer line for the green team.
And you'll notice that this is a co-ed Bratz game, and I think that's great.
Yeah, most of the junior derby that I've had the fortune of seeing so far has been mostly co-ed. And, it's the future of the sport is growing for both genders, and it's nice to see both represented in the youth here today.
Well, it's interesting for me because I'm kind of the opposite. As a Chicagoan, we have many junior leagues, but they are all female. So
right.
It's very exciting to me to see the boys in the mix, too.
The youth derby has exploded on the West Coast, and several of the skaters here are from the Pacific Northwest, also with some speed skating discipline background as well.
Destroyer is out for lead active scorer. Mason taken to the infield by number 13, Flying Hawaiian. She skates for Antagonist as well. And it looks like the pivot is attempting to break for the Green Brats. Yes, he did. That's number 24. Who do we got?
That's Humpty Dumpty. You saw him yesterday in the. He also skates for the Tulsa Derby Militia. Another one that's graduated up. He did a great job. I mean, you're looking at a kid right there that skated against your mom and the Ole Warriors.
Oh, and he did a phenomenal job. Speaking of phenomenal and youth, number 666. I got to just take a second to say this lady is going to be some serious terror for many, many years to come.
Yeah, I've been so impressed watching Bewitched this weekend for Tulsa.
And she is the sweetest of the sweet. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she is 17 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And she skates for Tulsa Derby League. She did a great job all weekend in the tournament so far, and she's wearing the star for the green team. Number 14 up at the top of the pack, that is Mad Monkey wearing the star for Derby Bratz Black, getting a little bit of assistance from number 80. However, the pivot and number 35 are doing a bang-up job on defense at the front of the pack.
For those of you that are new to this brand of youth derby, there's going to be two 20-minute halves here, so it's not going to be a full-length game like we've seen with the adults. A little bit shorter.
We do have a lead active scorer. It is number 14, Mad Monkey.
And we've got a pivot in pursuit. That looks like, I didn't catch the number.
Number 12?
Lily Lightning. Yes, indeed.
Skating like lightning, of course.
We've got about 17 minutes left, so not very far into this one, but the black team leading this one by 5. Congrats
again to Antagonists. They defeated my dear Chicago Red Hots. it was a really fun game to play.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking home the bronze medal.
There's a lot of great athleticism on both your Chicago team and antagonist. It was a great game to watch. Despite the score not being so tight, it was still a great display of athleticism from both sides.
Why, thank you. And look at this athleticism on the track. Number 24 and number 91s are dancing at the top of the pack. 24, Humpty Dumpty, takes out the jammer from Black, but he's going to be going to the penalty box for being out of play. Number 79 is going to be your lead jammer. That's Death Roller. Excellent name. Look at her. Death Roller. Death Roller doing a great job of navigating the pack, looking for a little assistance. Takes it outside. Excellent. Skating that speed track, if you will. Skating to the outside on the straightaways and tightly on the turns.
Lucille Brawl in pursuit.
That's number 23 in green. She is wearing the star.
Death Roller had a good head start. How many did she pick up there? None. So that's going to be a wash.
So we have 0 on the board for the green Brats and 10 for the Brats in black with 16 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first period.
Tempest taking the jammer line for the black team here.
And that's 666 Bewitch once again in green. I'm pretty sure both these ladies would never stop skating if they had the option.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second.
Nice defense at the top of the pack by number 12, Lily Lightning. Lily trying to take on Adams by herself. Lily's got to let her go. Adams gets out to get active score, excuse me.
So the black team here controls this jam, but Bewitch is trying to keep that pressure applied and does enough pressure to get it called off.
And I don't know if you could catch this at home, but Tempest, was shaking her head saying, nope, I don't feel like skating that fast right now. I just played a full-on hour-long game for third place, of the USARS 2013 Roller Derby National Championship. She's a little tired. We're going to conserve some of that energy, and I don't think that's a bad call at all.
Right, and I'm enjoying watching these youth play here. It's a relatively new thing for a lot of people. Lacey taking the jammer line for the green team now.
And in black, once again, it's number 91, Destroyer, picking up lead active scorer for the Derby Brats in black.
So control again goes to the black team.
Flying Hawaiian doing some 360 blocking on number 16, Lacey. Oh, Flying Hawaiian's going to be going to the penalty box, I believe. Yep, she is.
And Humpty Dumpty makes a break for it, activates to try and apply some pressure to the black team.
Yeah, we did have what is called a pivot break. For those of you that are new to USARS rule set, that's one of the things I love about it. I know a lot of people are like, I don't get why the pivot just starts skating away. And it's like, well, what's really cool is, roller derby in and of itself, flat track, bank track, men's, co-eds, women's, juniors, doesn't matter. It's offense and defense at the same time, and that's what's so exciting about our sport. But when you throw the possibility of two potentially dangerous, meaning offensive scorers, out there, it just amps that up. It's like roller derby on steroids.
I do enjoy the meaningful pivot.
But not on steroids.
As the green team takes control of this jam.
So we got Lily Lightning taking on number 17, that McIntosh, Jesus Feist.
I think I'm going to chuckle at that a few more times before we're done here.
I mean, why wouldn't you? So now this is our traditional, what we're used to for those of us that are fans of flat track roller derby. Both active scorers are wearing the star, so we do have our jammers that are both active scorers. Black is trying to amp up the pack pace a little bit, and it looks like 1 point is going to be awarded to the green jammer and 0 to Jesus Feist. So we did crack that goose egg on the scoreboard for the green Brats. 1 point for them, 12 for the black.
Lacey now takes the shore grip jammer line for the green team.
And that is 91, Destroyer. One of my favorite KISS records.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You part of the KISS Army?
Always. Since day one. Are you kidding me? Oh, and there she goes. Look at the jammer. Gets lead active scorer. Are we going to have a pivot break?
Pivot
yes,
does break.
We did have a pivot break. That is number 79, Death Roller.
Almost took control of it. Just in time, the jam was called by Lacey.
Smart calling by Lacey because, sometimes you're so focused on getting those points, you don't even realize that the opposition's active score is right there on your tail. And if you even slip up just for an instant and they take the lead, then they, of course, become lead active scorer.
Right.
So good call by Lacey. And that's part of the reason why the scores are relatively lower in USARS roller derby is because the lead active scorer can change so quickly.
I think as the skill levels of the teams have more parity, so will the scores. We've seen a few lopsided scores this weekend, but right now, number 35, Hunter, takes control of this jam for the green team.
And on the hunt to take lead active scorer away was number 80, Tempest. Jam gets called. 0-0 on that one, Joe.
And we'll reset here as Humpty Dumpty takes the shore grip jammer line for the Green Brats.
Facing off against number 17, Jesus Feist.
We'd like to thank Derby Skins for all your athletic apparel needs, uniforms, shorts, capris, and more, and over 150 fabric color choices. Stop by the Derby Skins website at derbyskins.com.
Skins with a Z, of course. Oh, big takedown by Destroyer. Destroying the pivot. But luckily, Humpty Dumpty was hot on the trail of Jesus Feist, so they didn't have to worry about that pivot being active score at all because he broke himself. Excuse me.
Well, we're seeing the black team with a little bit of a lead here, but it's still, with each jam, we've seen a lot of 0-0 stalemates here, and I think there's a lot more closeness in the skill level than the scoreboard indicates at this time. It's certainly early in this one, and the green team could come back.
Now we got number 12 against number 13 on the jam line. That is Flying Hawaiian taking on Lily Lightning. Lily forced to the infield, does a nice toe stop, hops right back in because you only have to go behind the person that took you out of play. Flying Hawaiian slowing down, trying to make sure that somebody locks down that pivot because look who that pivot is. That is Bewitched, number 666 for the Green Derby Brats. But there she goes, fast as lightning. Lily Lightning right past Flying Hawaiian. Flying Hawaiian takes a tumble on the track. Lily Lightning is going to have all day, all the way, Joe.
And we've got a very fast pack. I'm impressed with the knowledge that we're seeing from these youths here, where a lot of times you'll see these jammers as they come through the pack, they'll look back and make sure the opposing pivot is contained by their blockers before they take off and gain that active scorer status. So that way they get that head start they need to score points like this. 5 in the sky for the Green Brats.
And Lily Lightning is out and lead active scorer. She's racking up some points for the Green Brats. The jammer, Flying Hawaiian, went to the box, but there was still that pivot out there for black, so she did break. She didn't get any points on that last pass.
Now the pivot picking up a track cut, so she's going to be heading to the box.
Same with the jammer. The lead active scorer is Lily Lightning. She's in the box. Looks like the jam is going to be called dead.
Yes, when both active scorers are in the box, the jam is whistled dead. The helmet cover is removed. Then the jammers or pivot, depending on the situation, will slide one seat over, and we'll get 2 new jammers out.
And this is one of the rules that I particularly like, is that it's the skater is penalized, not the position.
Right.
So people go, well, why are they taking off the helmet cover? She was a jammer. She should be. No. Well, they were both called active scorers, meaning that they are the only people that could score for their teams. And since they were both in the box, rather than skate around for no reason for that entire time they're in the box, we already know that these ladies and gents are very fast, okay? That's quite clear. Instead of just watching them speed skate clinic, let's call the jam dead, start it over, and now both those skaters, number 12 and 13, will return to the track as blockers. So you're, again, penalizing the skater, not the position.
Looks like we've got an official timeout. I'd like to thank Roller Bones Wheels and Bones Bearings. They make for a winning combination. Also, Rydell Skates, unmatched quality, unmatched performance, Rydell.
Look, even Bewitch is like, let's do this. Let's work on our arm. Oh, now she's dancing. So we have number 666, Bewitch. She is going to be wearing the star for the Green Derby Brats. And who's out there for black?
That's Dragging Your Face.
Ooh, I like it. Number 7 in black for the Derby Brats. A big green wall at the top of the pack. Nice, solid defense. Bewitch has to fight her way up the inside. She does do a great job of getting there, but there is number 91 recycled. She's going to have to let her go. Bewitch is out and is lead active scorer, Joe.
So control of this one in the hands of the Green Brats, squarely in control at the moment, as Bewitch approaching the back of the pack. Looks for a path on the outside, but bumped out of bounds. She's going to have to work her way through the hard way, it looks like.
Definitely the hard way. When you got skaters out there like number 91, Destroyer, hit after hit after hit. But you know what? Bewitch just don't quit. She gets out again, and look at her. She's smiling at the flying Hawaiian as she picks up 5 more points for the Green Derby Brats. And I don't know if you're keeping tabs at home, folks, but we have ourselves a 1-point lead by the Green Derby Brats.
That's right. That's our first lead change so far, and I suspect it may not be the last.
Bewitch stays. Oh, almost stayed in bounds, but she didn't have enough time. She got forced out of bounds. And again, that's another rule thing that I really particularly like, is that you must be upright and in bounds when you want to call the jam. Just makes it a little bit more exciting, Joe.
That's great. And you can tell some people who may be experienced skaters but not so experienced under these rules, that's come back to haunt a few people this weekend.
Oh, definitely. We have Green that's forming a big, giant wall at the top as the jam gets called. 12 on the board for the Derby Brats in black, and 17 now for the Brats in green.
Boom, shakalaka.
I'm saying.
So we got Tempest heading here to the Sure Grip jam line.
Who's going to be joining her? None other than number 12, Lily Lightning. We have 6 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first period. And only one skater in the penalty box, the stripe for Team Black. Lily Lightning does a 360 block out of the pack, but hot on her trail is Tempest. Tempest and Lily are trading neck and neck. Who's going to be called lead? It is still Lily, but now Tempest passed her up. Yeah. Lead active scorer changes. Smart call by Tempest to call the jam before Lily hit the back of the pack.
Yeah, that was good positioning here heading into turn 4. She just kind of wedged herself on that inside lane and kind of forced herself in front and took control of that jam with authority.
And as she did that 360 turn, she started to call the jam. She got 3 points on that last pass, Joe. So now we have 15 on the board for the Brats in black and 16 for the Brats in green.
Yeah, don't let the youth fool you into thinking inexperience, because these skaters know what's up.
Well, not only are they very experienced skaters, we have a lot of skaters coming from a speed skating background or hockey players, but also they have such lovely fresh cartilage in their knees, because a lot of junior derby is not very contact heavy. It's more about positional blocking.
Right, it's the chess match part.
Exactly. So they ended up
boom, but there's some contact there, sends Humpty Dumpty down to the ground.
Yeah, Flying Hawaiian's like, I'll show you not contact. Thank you for proving me wrong. So now the active scorers
Look at the speed right here.
Ooh, number 79 almost at the back of the pack. She calls it as number 35, Hunter, was the pivot and active scorer for green. But so a lot of these youth skaters, if you will, learn the art of roller derby, the sport of roller derby, as, you know, a non-contact initially. That's how a lot of junior leagues get their start. They just do more positional. So by the time they do graduate to that full-on, awesome, brutal contact that we know and love so much, they don't have all these crazy injuries that us old ladies do. So
it is a full contact sport, and
yes, sir.
I couldn't tell you how many people I've seen with iced down knees, including Simonis from your team yesterday.
Oh yeah,
had a wrapped up knee, playing through a lot of pain yesterday.
We all said ice baths for everyone. The ice machine on the 8th floor of our hotel was not very happy. But we were, because we got to play the greatest sport in all the land, and that's roller derby. Out of the pack first, emerging as lead active scorer is number 80, that is Tempest.
And the pivot's going to make a break and try and challenge here. That's number 12, Lily Lightning.
And for those of you watching along at home, of course, the pivot break, you can see all the officials on the track will hold their hands above their head as though they were calling a safety in football, if you're familiar with that one. If not, you just raise your hands up and clap them.
Yeah, if not, it's the I call it the Walk Like an Egyptian.
Yeah, exactly.
If you remember that music
the
video.
The Bangles.
Might have just dated myself there, but
that's all right. We're not juniors. It's okay. Everybody knows that. Couldn't you hear my knees cracking as I walked up to the booth? So we got number 16. Who is that for green?
That's Lacey.
Yes, it is, and that's number 91, Destroyer in black. Ooh, Destroyer taking a jump over number 35, Hunter.
One of my favorite things about this rule set, if I can opine for just a moment.
Yes, please do.
Black team takes control here. Is that the pivot matters again. You know, for 70 years in this sport, the pivot was a pivotal position. And a major part of scoring points, and it's nice to see that return here. Some parts of the Derby umbrella will remind you that it never left, but I do enjoy that teams can have a plan B here. As
exactly
5 points picked up here by Destroyer, and that's going to cushion the lead for the black team now.
Yeah, 16 on the board for the Brats in green and 25 on the board for the Brats in black.
Now, I knew that Antagonists had a couple of youth skaters on their team, but after seeing the roster for this game, I didn't realize how young their team was.
Oh, yeah.
And just so impressed even more with the athleticism out of that team, even more so now as this youth game.
And if I'm not mistaken, there's actually another skater or two that could have participated, but, I don't blame them. They've skated their way to a bronze medal.
Yeah.
I don't blame them if they want to enjoy the hot tub or, say, an ice bath if the ice machine is back to order.
So heat or cold, one or the other, to save that cartilage before it goes away.
Save it, please. Please do. Lily Lightning is facing a 2-all at the top of the pack. Lily Lightning shocks her way right past the flying Hawaiian. And up through the inside, number 7, that is dragging you face.
This is one of those situations where it would have been nice to have the pivot on the track, and when the pivot's in the box, you lose that plan B to try and either get the jam called off or take control of the jam and score some points yourself. This one's a wash. And we'll reset here. It looks like B. Witch is coming to the short grip jammer line for the Green Brats.
And that was a nice block by number 84 in black, Dalek. Is that right? Dalek?
Yeah. Okay. That's a Doctor Who fan, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Got a Whovian.
I end at Star Wars and anime. That's about it. And wrestling. But anyhow, so she did a nice block, slowing down Lily Lightning. Lily Lightning called the jam at 0-0, but she ended up in the penalty box. So black is definitely down in numbers with B-Witch wearing the star and Humpty Dumpty wearing the stripe. That's dangerous territory to be skating in.
Very, very tightly packed along the inside lanes here in the turns. They're all jockeying for position.
Number 79 in black, Death Roller, is trying to fight her way up.
Do you see that? B-Witch on the inside, jukes to the outside, and takes control of this jam for the green team. That was a nice move right there.
Yes, it surely was, and she had some nice assistance by her teammate wearing the stripe, number 24, Humpty Dumpty. Look at him controlling the pace of the pack, keeping an eye on everything. He's kind of like the law of the land out there.
Yeah, I had a conversation yesterday with Tin Man from the Tulsa Derby Militia about Humpty Dumpty and how impressed I was with this youth skater out there. I did not know the first time, that whole first game that I saw him skate, that he was a youth skater, and it just blew my mind. Here's 5 more to the score by B-Witch.
Yeah, he definitely skates with the finesse and the aggression of a much seasoned veteran. Nice work by Humpty Dumpty.
This could be a lead change here if B-Witch is successful. Only 6 seconds remain on the jam timer. She's bumped out of bounds. I believe she's picked up 1 at least.
And the jam does get called. Let's see if she did it.
2. Make it 2. Score tightens up now, 23-25, and we're at the half. This is an impressive bunch of kids right here.
Yeah, it surely is.
Young adults.
Number 80, Tempest for the Derby Brats in black. But
and
number 24,
Humpty Dumpty in pursuit, forces her to call it off.
So just to recap, folks, we have 23 on the board for the Brats in green and 25 on the board for the Brats in black. And we do have an update for you folks. That discount code that you can use by going to rollerderbyworldcup.com using the coupon code of USARS, USARS. That is good for 1 week. So get in on it now, and like Joe and I were talking about, it's going to sell out. The 2014 Blood and Thunder Magazine Roller Derby World Cup will sell out.
It certainly will.
Back to the action on the track. We have number 12, Lily Lighton, forced to the outside, but number 91, Destroyer, in black, is your lead active scorer. Emerging from the pack is number 23.
That's Lucille Brawl. The pivot makes a break and tries to apply some pressure here.
I don't think that Lily Lightning realized that the pivot did break. So now Lily is way out of play. She's going to slow it down, but the jam was called anyway. Good thing for green, because they would have been without one of their most valuable players.
So we'll get some fresh skates out here. Bewitch heading to the Sure Grip Jam line for the green team. And that looks like Dragging Your Face coming back to the jammer line for the black team.
Bewitch is doing the Cotton Eye Joe dance. You see that right on the Sure Grip Jam line? Gotta love it. Penalty box is empty for both teams. We got Humpty Dumpty at the top of the pack. We're in the stripe for the team in green. And that is number 14 in black. Can't seem to find her name. Oh, pardon me, it is Mad Monkey. Pack is very, very fast-paced.
Both the pivots in great position here. Great awareness from both of these teams, keeping those pivots in position just in case they're needed.
And by needed, you mean in case they do have to emerge from the pack to become the active scorer. Because, again, in USARS, the stripe helmet cover is also eligible to be the active scorer. Now, you can only have one active scorer at a time. You can't just say, okay, we're both going to score here. Nope, it's whoever emerges from the pack once the lead active scorer is declared.
There was a period in the long history of roller derby where you could have multiple people scoring, and it's just chaos. It's too hard to keep up with.
You know, yeah, I kind of always call roller derby controlled chaos, so that's perfect.
Yeah, it's a little more controlled when you have one designated person to score each jam.
Oh, it looks like a forearm penalty is going to be assessed to number 7, Dragging Your Face. Not very happy about it. I don't blame you, honey. That penalty box is never a good feeling. So now it's going to be up to number 14 to protect herself. Good work by number 91, Destroyer, assistant Mad Monkey to keep up at the top of the pack. The jam did expire. And we're going to line up and start a new one with 16 minutes and 30 seconds left on the board. 23 on the board for the Brats in green and 29 for the Brats in black.
And that's number 16 taking the jammer line, Lacey. So she's going to start this jam all by her lonesome from the jammer line.
Lacey trying to force up the inside. She has 2 blockers left at the top of the pack, unfortunately for her. Now she's got 3. Nice recycling by black. So it's the Flying Hawaiian and Tempest up at the top of the pack. The pivot for green trying to dice him up. Down goes Tempest. Lacey doing a great job, Joe.
Yeah, finds that path on the inside. Great positioning, and the pivots were in great position as well. Flying Hawaiian immediately mounts the challenge, and the jam is called off. We've seen a good job throughout the weekend from several of the teams keeping those pivots up front. And the teams that have struggled oftentimes had that pivot eaten back into the pack strategically by their opponents. And if you can knock that pivot out of position, you can really help control the jam in your favor.
And that's why you'll notice a lot of times teams will choose the defensive position of like the pivot buddy or pivot assist. You'll kind of see 2 players go up at the front of the pack. So that way the pivot has the protector, if you will. Mm-hmm. Especially when you only have 1 jammer on the track. But Humpty Dumpty, speaking of 1 jammer, we have lead active scorer going to number 24 in green. Some speed on that boy.
Mad Monkey takes off in pursuit, activates to try and take control, but Humpty Dumpty comes through the pack and picks up 3 more points to the score of the green team.
Excellent work by Humpty Dumpty picking up those points, calling the jam. 26 now on the board for the Brats in green and 29 for the Brats in black with 14 minutes and 33 seconds left to go. Number 79 in black, that is Death Roller lined up on the inside. And who do we have jamming once again in green?
We've got Mason going to try and jam this one out for the green team.
Number 13, Mason, lined up on the outside. Big green wall at the back of the pack, but a giant black wall at the front.
Yeah, Mason saw that hole there at the back of the pack on the outside and took advantage of that. Still on the outside, sometimes risky, but so far so good for Mason.
Mason does go down, recovers nicely. Both of the star covers are at the back of the pack. Mason tries to help on Jammer D for a bit. Nice job slowing down the Jammer, but gets taken out to the outside by number 80, Tempest. And there she is emerging from the pack. That is number 79, Death Roller.
So black team now in control of this jam. Green team will either try to send the pivot or if the jammer can make a break for it. But they've got some defenders to get through here.
So we do have 13 minutes and 25 seconds left in this game, but we got a couple more exciting games for you later on tonight. Joe, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
We sure do. Coming up next after this game at 3:15, the USARS Men's National Championship, Your Mom versus the Ole Warriors. A bit of a rematch, if you will, and I think a lot of people are just salivating for that one.
I'm really excited. I'm so glad you guys don't need me on the mic so I can scream in the audience.
I'm pretty excited about that one. I actually will get to enjoy that from the audience as well.
There's many strong skaters on that team. Several of the, actually 3 of the co-founders of the Team USA men's team, Quadzilla, Peter Pan, and Streak.
Right.
And it's great because they skate against each other. I love it.
It's going to be a great game. And then at 5 o'clock, following the men's national championships, is the USARS women's national championship, the Ole Rollers versus Pork Tortured.
Oh, that's going to be awesome to watch, too.
It's looking like it could be a good night for the state of Washington for sure.
Well, it could be a great night for Derby Nation, if you ask me. We do have a lead active scorer. That is the Jammer. That's number 125, Whipperslapper. That's her first time down in the star, if I'm not mistaken, Joe.
Yeah, we've seen her in some as pivot previously.
She's done a great job also in the pack as a blocker without a helmet cover. But here she is at the back of the pack. Let's see what she's going to do here. And she gets past one, calls it. The jam does get called as she gets knocked out by 001 in black. That's Choker. 4 points awarded to the Brats in green. Perfect execution of calling the jam by Whipperslapper. So now the score is 30-35 in favor of the Brats in black, Joe.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. We've got 2 very evenly matched teams, and I thought that the black team, I believe, was off to an early lead, and I didn't think the score there reflected the parity between these 2 teams, and now we're starting to see the score tighten up quite a bit.
And speaking of black, we have an immersion from the pack. That's lead active scorer is going to number 80, Tempest.
And
from black.
Now the pivot breaks for the green team. That's number 12, Lily Lightning. Lily's got a lot of speed here, and I think she's gaining some ground.
Number 7 in black going to the penalty box, dragging her face.
Tempest saw the approaching pivot and decided to call it off.
Smart call by Tempest.
I believe she picked up 2 on that one.
That's 3 on that last
3
jam.
on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Nice work there.
So we have number 79, Death Roller, in black on the inside of the Shore Grip jam line.
And we've got B. Witch, her counterpart for the green team.
1 skater in the box for black. That is number 7, Dragging Your Face. Bewitch skating back and forth, but not stopping all the way, trying to force Death Roller out so Bewitch can turn on the juice a little bit. Taking some big strides, getting to the back of the pack. She's got to dance for the Flying Hawaiian at the back of the pack, along with Choker. Choker and Flying Hawaiian doing a great 1-2 on 666. 666 turning into Jammer D on number 79. Pack is very fast-paced. Could you feel the breeze as they skated by us?
It's great. It feels good. I can't wait for them to come back by, actually.
How refreshing.
And the youth skaters don't smell nearly as bad as the adults.
Yeah, true that. I was going to say you're probably enjoying it because that breeze wafts my stench away. It's a very fast-paced pack. We have yet to declare a lead active score. Neither team has had any emergence from the pack. But number 13 sounds like she's going to the penalty box. That's a flying Hawaiian. And as I said it, there it is right there, emerging from the pack. Number 79, Death Roller, does get out to get lead active scorer. Humpty Dumpty chases her down, forces her to call the jam. Nice work by Humpty.
And we're going to get some fresh skates on the track now. Number 13, Mason, back on the jammer line for the green team.
So I got to ask, what CNC Music Factory just started playing in the house speakers. Do you think any of these skaters were even alive when this song came out?
Oh, my goodness. I don't think they were.
There you go. How old are you feeling?
Oh, wow.
Pretty good. Number 13, Mason, taking the outside in green. And number 14, Mad Monkey in black.
Wow.
Yep, that just blew your mind.
Yeah, that puts things into perspective in a whole new light.
Yep. But what was great was number 25 was rocking out Helga. She was rocking out like this was her favorite song ever. Big whip by Lily Lightning. Nice job. Nice assist to Mason. Mason gets out to get lead active scorer for the green team, Joe.
That was nice teamwork right there.
Mad Monkey trying to fight past that pivot in green, number 23. That is Lucille Brawl. Lucille Brawl has done some great defensive and offensive work. Here comes Mason around the back of the pack, looking to pick up some points. So green is trying to slow things down. A gift from the Derby gods. Black skater takes a bit of a tumble, so Mason is definitely going to score some points. Lily Lightning's trying to push number 80, Tempest, out of play. Mason stays inbounds. Out of play she was. Going to go to the penalty box. Mason, can he do it? Will he call it? The crowd is telling for him to call it. Yes. He wanted a teaser just a little bit, I think, Joe.
Just in the nick of time there.
Excellent work by Mason, picking up 4 points. The entire crowd is freaking out right now. I don't blame them.
That was a pretty action-packed jam there.
Sure was.
That's a good example, not just of youth derby, but that's a good example of just derby right there.
Yeah, not just USARS derby, not just youth derby, but roller derby. So 7 minutes and 23 seconds left on the period clock. We have 34 on the board for the green derby brats, and number 42 for the brats in black.
Whipper Slapper jamming for the green team.
Whipper Slapper did a great job in her last jam out there, and she does have a very strong pivot at the front of the pack in Humpty Dumpty forcing the flying Hawaiian inbounds. Whipper Slapper gets out and gets lead active scorer, Joe.
Nice work there, and that's due in large part to the great teamwork there. It bought just enough time here, but look at the speed.
Yeah, Death Roller is on a mission for sure.
She's gaining the ground here, too.
Good job by Humpty, keeping back flying Hawaiian. Humpty and Bewitch, a 1-2 punch. Did she get through and calls it? Yes, she did. 5 points held proudly in the air. 1 point for black, but that green team is inching slowly, Joe.
It looks like the ref in the center there amended that to 4.
Correction, thank you.
But still 4 hard-earned points there. That was a good jam. Love it.
If you could see Joe's smiling face right now, it's so great. We have the best seat in the house each and every time. Number 13, Mason, facing off against number 7 again. That's Dragging Your Face. Mason takes the death road on the outside, but he holds on tight. He's got one blocker left at the top of the pack. That is number 17, Jesus Feist.
Now, this is 2 jams in a row where that outside lane has worked out pretty well for Mason, but as you know, that can sometimes be a gamble when someone comes out like a missile from the inside.
Yeah, exactly. We like to call that a jungle cat attack. That's how we do it in
And
Chicago.
sometimes you can't even see them coming, or by the time you do, it's too late.
Yeah.
And sometimes it leaves a mark.
Well, Mason is leaving a mark. Oh, and he gets caught up in his teammate's skates, but he gets up. Whole team gets up, so we got Humpty Dumpty at the front of the pack. He is going to have to slow things down.
And he's done a good job so far at sometimes blocking 2 people at a time. He's able to kind of just juggle his position just enough to hold back 2 people at once.
Now what green is going to have to do is speed things up because number 7, Dragging Your Face, has 25 seconds left in this jam to start scoring some points because she is out and lead active scorer. Mason now trying to emerge from the pack himself, but there goes Lily Lighton. She's dancing at the top of the pack with number 17. Does a 360 around her, but gets reabsorbed. Ooh.
Look at that hop. There's so much grace here. Love it.
Now number 7 is at the back of the pack. She gets taken out by Humpty Dumpty. They're going to have to stay on defense. Jam expires. 0-0. Look at all that action in one jam, yet no points were scored.
You know, the one thing I enjoy about watching the USARS rule set is
the one thing. One of the things.
One of the things, yeah. These 0-0 stalemates are still full of action, and the points are so much harder earned, and to me it has more value for each point.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very intense jam, but no points are scored. I mean, that just goes to show how awesome the USARS rule set really can be. Out as lead active scorer is number 91, Destroyer. And we got number 16, that's Lacey, trying to fight her way past the Flying Hawaiian, and number 14, Mad Monkey.
Currently the green team with a slight pack advantage with 0-0-1 Choker sitting in the penalty box. Been a very clean bout so far. Not a lot of penalties been called. Got to give these skaters credit.
Here's another example of the active scorer being great, that it could potentially be either one of the helmet covers. Flying Hawaiian had all her focus on the pivot of number 666, Bewitched, because Bewitched was fighting her way up to try to emerge from the pack so she could be active scorer for green. However, her focus was so much on the pivot, she neglected the jammer star. The jam star got out, and Black was forced to call the jam.
Yeah, it makes it difficult, especially if your team is short-handed on the track. You can't put all your eggs in one basket unless one of the helmet covers sits in the penalty box.
Yeah, exactly. So
you have to kind of divide your resources a little bit and try and anticipate your opponent's next move. It's pretty tricky.
Oh, Whipper Slapper is out and around. Yep, she got lead active scorer. But there we have a pivot break.
Wow, look at this. Calls it off just in time.
Well, Tempest was on the hunt for sure. And that's another thing that I love about USARS roller derby, that pivot break. You got to be hot on your heat the whole time. And I know that sounds silly, but you got to be pumping every single stride like it's the last one you're ever going to take.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where once you get really good form, the more ground that you can gain with less energy, that certainly serves you well if you can pull off the 5 stride.
All
I
right.
certainly can't.
We have number 79 in black. That's Death Roller wearing the star for the Brats in black. And we have 666 in green for the Brats in green. That is Bewitched. 1 minute and 48 seconds left. 38 on the board for the Brats in green and 51 for the Brats in black.
Well, the Brats in black have kind of pulled away near the end here, but it's been a very, very close contest throughout the duration of this matchup.
Bewitched is now out of the pack. She has emerged, and she will be designated as lead active scorer. Number 14 breaks away. That is Mad Monkey.
Here's the potential for a few more points, but it's always a bit of a gamble when you've got the opponent hot on your heels. Let's see how many she can get here. May have allowed a few as well.
And as she's tapping her hips feverishly, she's saying, "Calling it!"
Picks up 3 and allows 2 on that one. So.
I don't blame you, Bewitched. I had to face off against those juniors in the adult USARS tournament. Yeah, I'd be screaming, calling it,
yeah.
too. I mean, I think I was, and I couldn't even call it. Flying Hawaiian, she was a great, fun opponent. So was Destroyer. It was a lot of fun playing antagonist.
And when Chicago came to visit Tulsa earlier this year, did you get a chance to play against Bewitched?
You know what? I did not. I had a knee injury at RollerCon. Yeah, so I was our bench coach, but I was like instant derby love when I saw her. And she just had such a great attitude and such an excellent skill set to match that attitude. How could you not love her?
Right.
I was bewitched by her, if you will. And here's number 12, Lily Lightning, out first. Emerges from the pack as lead active scorer. Look at the low and drawn-out strides. Beautiful precision skating by both these ladies from the Pacific Northwest.
Perfect form. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you can perfect that 5 stride, you get much more efficiency out of the energy you're using to get around that track. And it can't be understated, especially for the jammers and pivots. If you're the active scorer, you got to get it across the track quick, and you got to conserve that energy because you're going to bounce around like a ping pong ball trying to fight your way through that pack.
That's exactly right. So we do have a final. It's the unofficial final for you folks. Very, very close match here, Joe. 41 on the board for the Brats in green and 49 for our victors. Yes, that is the final, the Brats in black.
That was a great game right there.
Oh, for me, this was an excellent way to cap off my participation in the 2013 USARS Roller Derby National Championship. After skating, I got to watch such an excellent bout and help you. Thank you so much for inviting me on the mic.
Oh, I appreciate you being here. This is your depth of knowledge of the sport is always appreciated for both this announce booth and the viewers at home for Derby News Network.
Well, thank you very much to the viewers at home for Derby News Network. We really appreciate you tuning in and all your support, of course.
And in just a moment, I think we're going to have a sideline interview with one of the skaters here. So you want to stick around for that?
Oh, I think it's going to be one of the antagonist girls.
So we'll join at trackside in just a moment. But, man, these youth skaters, just so impressive here. This is the future of Derby that you've gotten to see here.
Yeah, like we said, they just can't wait to take your roster spots, ladies and gents, so you better get to practice.
Well, and we say it's the future of Derby, but actually it's partially the now of Derby.
Yeah, well, it's definitely.
Several of them have graduated up to
as you've seen from Bewitched. And I believe Lily Lightning, if I'm not mistaken, she skates in the Seattle area. I could be wrong, so please don't quote me on this. I do believe she skates for Rat City Roller Girls.
And also we've seen Humpty Dumpty for the Tulsa Derby Militia in competition this weekend as well. Very impressed with all of these youth skaters.
And speaking of impressive, look at this. This is the best part about roller derby is the camaraderie and the sister and brotherhood. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but one of the Tulsa Derby League skaters, one of the All-Stars, Rowdy Piper, she was coaching the green team.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool to keep it all in the family here in Tulsa. I really like that.
Yeah, Tulsa has a great youth program. Also, Antagonist has a lot of great youths there throughout the Pacific Northwest. Ole is another team that has a great youth program, and one of their graduates, of course, last year they didn't have the rule in place where you could move up early, but someone who would have, had it been in place, was Wamsday Adams for Ole, and she had a very impressive showing here last year, and now I guess technically a veteran as she returned this year with Ole. But, yeah, the youth movement in this sport is what's going to keep it alive in the future as people grow up with this sport. It'll hopefully become more mainstream that way. That's my personal hope.
And that's my personal goal, is to help roller derby in any which way I possibly can until it is more in the mainstream, until you do see little kids with some rock chalk making out a track on the playground because they want to play, because they love this game just as much as you and I and the viewers at home do.
Wow, that's such a great thought. I had never even thought about that, but one day...
Well, that's why I won't retire yet, don't you know?
I'll come see you in Chicago, and I'll bring some sidewalk chalk, and we'll skate it out.
Sounds good to me.
So we're going to go to trackside. Zipper Spark is going to have an update from trackside.
Absolutely not. You're done.
Yeah, that's still on skates.
Hi, I'm Zipper Spark, here with Samantha Adams of Antagonist, who just got done playing for the junior team as a black brat. Just a question for you. I noticed you'd been playing a lot today with the older women. Was it hard for you to transition from a junior point and coming into becoming on the women's team?
There's definitely some differences, but it wasn't too difficult. I mean, the level overall is higher, but there's definitely some really high-level juniors, especially in the Northwest, which is where I'm from. And there was some social differences, but the junior age range is really big, so some of the older juniors, it's almost more natural to be on an adult team, depending on, where you are in life, because there's a lot of variance in ages, just even if you're the same chronological age. And I've been hit harder, but there's some really hard hitters on the juniors too. And there was a few times I was like, okay, I'm not the biggest on the track. I normally am in juniors, but there was some adjustment, but it wasn't too difficult.
Yeah. Being a junior and coming from being a junior and not being known, do you feel like that's a target on your back whenever you're going against your competition ever?
Not too much. Sometimes there's kind of two ends to it. Some people will kind of target you, but once they see that you can hold your own, then they won't so much. They'll just look for whoever they're going to target anyways, and the age thing isn't too big. And the teams don't always notice who the juniors are, depending on how old we look. They don't always even know who we are. And sometimes the other end people will start to pull hits, which is kind of annoying because, like, no, I'm here, I want to play adult derby. But again, once they see the controller on, they start hitting us full force.
That's awesome. That was Samantha Adams of Antagonist, and I'm Zipper Spark. I'll be happy to get my voice back hopefully today. Thank you.